All right, here we go, another video. Welcome to Sociology and Coffee. Today I want to give a big shout out to my sister Brittany, who bought me this Queen Bee coffee mug. And those of you who know me like on a day-to-day, my best friends, my family, you just know Queen is just my thing. And so my sister is, she just had her first baby. And so welcome to motherhood first and foremost. But thank you again for the coffee mug. I didn't realize when I started this, this idea of sociology and coffee, and one, I just love coffee. So it was like a very easy decision, but I didn't realize how many coffee mugs I would need to make my videos. I'm already out. So if you want to send me a coffee mug, or if you are Black owned in particular and sell coffee mugs, please hit me up. I would absolutely love to continue building my coffee mug collection. But today I want to talk about something that's really been weighing heavily on, I'm sure, a lot of our minds. But with the presidential election coming up, right? We are officially a week away at this point. And so one, hopefully you have already voted, right? Hopefully you have at least already filled out your ballot. If you have not yet mailed in your ballot, do not mail it. Make sure that you go and drop it off at a proper polling place, because if you try and mail it at this point, we just don't want to deal with that, right? There's already been a lot of claims about mail-in ballot voter fraud, which if you did it early enough, no problem. I'm not speaking to you. I'm talking to the people who have not yet sent in their mail-in ballots. And I'm just saying at this point, it's best if you don't even don't even put it in the mail. At this point, just drop it off, because we don't want to deal with folks, not having their vote counted. Which, kind of speaking of, there have been instances now where people are setting the voter ballot boxes, the drop-off places, on fire in southern states. I'll be very specific. And so there's some fear going on right now. And this has not been proven, this is definitely my opinion, but I think Trump supporters, because they are the only, this is what people need to understand about his fan base. His fan base, and I'm calling it a fan base because he holds himself up as a celebrity. His fan base is crazy, in the sense that they will literally do any and everything to ensure that he gets reelected. So you don't see Biden and Kamala do not have that type of fan base, period. They don't have people who have been, supporting them and going for them since the moment that they decided to run. Right, period. That was Bernie. Bernie had that type of fan base where it's he was able to rally and really bring people together. Trump's able to do that regardless of his politics, right? We know, well, I know, hopefully most of my viewers know at this point, Trump is very overtly and also very covertly, very hiddenly racist, period. Right? And so his supporters, people who vote for him, are fine with him being the way that he is. They don't want him to change, right? All of these really horrible things that he has said and done to multiple communities at this point, people are still supporting him, right? That is a very strong fan base. Strong fan bases are the ones who would go out and do things like blow up or set a ballot, drop-off box on fire. They will do anything to get this man reelected. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they don't have that type of fan base. So that's why I say it is my opinion, but also, if we connect all the dots, who else would do something like that? So that's kind of along the lines of what I want to talk about today, in that this presidential election is dangerous no matter who wins. No matter who wins, this is a very dangerous election, particularly for communities of color, for Black people, for Latinx people, for marginalized people in society. No matter who wins, y'all, we are not winning. And that sounds I kind of giggle when I say that, because it sounds so pessimistic. But at the same time, let me kind of break it down for you, right? We've seen what Trump can do. He has shown us his politics on multiple levels. We have absolutely seen the way that he responds, the way that he acts on Twitter. We have seen all his cards. We know exactly the type of politicking he does. We know exactly the type of strategies that he uses to gain support, right? Period. Joe Biden, he worked with President Obama, right? And so this is where the dangerous part for me kind of surfaces. He worked for President Obama, which was not a perfect presidency, right? I'm not claiming that President Obama had a perfect presidency. A lot of very bad things happened under his presidency as well. And I'll be the first to say it. And so you have, you know, an older white man who worked for the first black president. And even when Obama was elected, this is where it became very, very dangerous. I'm going to keep using the word dangerous for black folks in the United States, right? Is because then people were able to say racism no longer exists. We have a black president. Boom. Right? So then people started looking at black folks who have not been able to gain this type of status, prestige, wealth in society and be like, oh, look, you're the problem. Obama did it. Oprah does it. Right? And starts listing all of these really successful black people. That's very dangerous, right? That's very, very dangerous because that does not show how systemic racism works. That does not show the everydayness, right, of being black in the United States. Using Obama as an example, someone who came from an educated background, both his parents were educated. You know, he came from a very privileged type of class background. You can't compare him to everyday black folk, y'all. We can't do that type of comparison. It does not work the same. All right, so you have Joe Biden, who worked for the first black president, who chooses a black woman as his running mate. So you see the strategy here. I know he said in the very beginning he wants to choose a woman as his running mate. You know, back in March, he did, you know, claim that one of his first things is like, I'm going to run with a woman as my running mate. He chose a black woman. Okay, so now he's really trying to align himself back with this post-racial, you know, ideology, this idea that race may no longer matter. If we have a black woman as a vice president, then that shows that any black woman can do it, right? Black women are now liberated. Black women are now not experiencing gendered racism and anti-blackness and forms of violence, right? Because Kamala Harris, she made it happen, right? And then when we get into conversations about her politics, the fact that she was an attorney general, she locked up a lot of black people through her policies. She has never once, up until maybe about 2016-ish, spoken out against police brutality. She has refused to investigate issues of police brutality as a black woman. Okay? And so, this becomes very dangerous. No matter who wins, this is a very dangerous election. Right? It's a very, very dangerous election. And so, keep that in mind as you're voting. Don't think that this is going to, you know, the fight ends once Trump is out of office. No, y'all. The fight is going to change. The way that we have to fight is going to change. Our strategy has to change. All right? So cheers.